The new R6 season is around the corner, and with a plethora of operator and gadget changes coming with it, there's one specific change that stands out among the rest. The iconic operator Smoke, one of the best defenders in the game in my opinion, is losing his shield for the first time ever. Pro players are grieving, the community is enraged, and most people see this as a devastating nerf to Smoke that wasn't even necessary in the first place. Judging by the balancing matrix released with the patch notes for Year 8 Season 2, Smoke isn't even overpowered, actually taking on a significantly negative win delta, meaning he's one of the weakest operators in ranked from Emerald and above. So if that's the case, then why get rid of his best asset, the shield, in exchange for proximity mines? Well, according to Ubisoft, his loadout makes him consistently viable and useful, and they want to make room for other area denial operators to take the spotlight in terms of pick rate. But I think Ubisoft may have missed one very important detail when dumping Smoke's shield down the drain, and that's just how lethal Smoke can be when he uses barbed wire. Currently running barbed wire on Smoke is seen as committing an extremely violent sin, especially once you run away from the site and become a mildly insane and over-aggressive roamer. Without the shield for your teammates on site, and without the smokes there to stall pushes into the site, it seems almost ridiculous and makes for a much weaker site hold. So what the hell would Smoke be doing on the other side of the map? It's obviously a troll, maybe this person just wants to throw the game, or maybe they're actually one of the most genius players that are so far above the intelligence of your average rank player that it looks like insanity. After all, there is a very fine line between genius and insanity. So let me try to break down to you the true genius of this idea, how it's actually more effective than the current anchor style Smoke, and why removing his shield was one of the best buffs that Smoke has ever received. So hear me out, we are in a very fast-paced, very aggressive, and very information-lacking meta. A lot of people don't drone very much, and they play fairly quickly. I talked about this in much more detail in this video if you're interested. So fast-paced meta, shoot people, run around, Smoke on site here is an okay option. You can do the site setup, play the pump on close ranges, stall time on different entrances, and kind of lock down one entrance into the site with solid reliability. But what happens on the average round, when your teammates are all dead in the first minute and you're trying to fight back with a serious lack of man advantage and zero map control because the attackers have taken that too and are now collapsing on the site from multiple directions? Well, in this case you're screwed like 9 out of 10 times, and it's kind of awful. On the other side of things, your teammates might just kill everyone in the first minute of the round, and instead of getting blasted on site, you've got a 5v2 and you know the round's in the bag. So what are you actually achieving as Smoke here? Well, literally nothing. In most rounds, you're either getting completely plowed in the first minute or completely plowing the other team in the first minute. So how can we take Smoke and make him consistently strong round after round to be more effective and just more useful on a round to round basis? Well, firstly, you're gonna want to get into areas where that pump is pumping. The best areas for this are close range ones, ideally on exterior entrances, preventing attackers from getting inside. By sitting around a doorway or being right there for a window hop in, you're able to not only swing onto attackers that are just pulling up to the entrance, but you're also able to sit and stall and force them to use some sort of utility to push you away. By hopping on the default cameras right at the start of the round, you're able to see what directions the attackers spawn in from, and then run over to that side of the map to contest the entry there. If you are caught off in an awkward spot and need to escape, well, you have the ideal utility for it, your smokes. You can smoke off that window or door to push them back off of it and then run away and reposition for some more shotgun action. It's actually beautiful, but it doesn't stop there. Using the smoke canisters early also completely messes with the attacker's timing. Smokes last 10 seconds, meaning if you use them back to back, you can stall 30 seconds of time between the three of them. If it takes 10 to 15 seconds for the attackers to get out of spawn and to get to the building, and then an additional 10 to 15 seconds for them to drone out that initial room, that's half a minute down the drain. And then at that point, you start using your smokes for that additional 30 seconds, meaning you can stall them out for that first minute of the round. If they don't drone, you simply shotgun them in the face, and if they do, they just lose a little bit of time. But that first minute is the most important one, because in most rounds, that's when the round is decided. That's when at least 3 people are dead, whether it's your team or theirs. If you're posted up and contesting one entrance with the smokes, you're holding off those attackers and they're not able to help their teammates for that limited amount of time. Essentially, basically you have an extra mana advantage in the first minute, giving you a direct advantage in that minute. Because of the high aggression everyone has these days, you'll probably notice you gain mana advantage fairly quick. Those other attackers are coming in somewhere else, and your teammates can hopefully deal with them, but it's also likely that they might just be sneaking up on you from behind during that time. Oh no, they're gonna shoot me in the back while I'm focused on these other guys trying to get into the building. Or you hear them hit the barbed wire. This is the power of the smoke roam. The barbed wire is the perfect utility for it. Whether you're in an area where you can't get shot in the back and you're using it as a sound cue to swing the attackers in front of you, or you're in a spot where you need the info behind you, the barbed wire is always going to add another layer to your roam. This is a complete lockdown. You are untouchable. The only solution for the attackers is to have premium droning and premium utility usage to clear you out, or to all stay extremely patient as you waste away your smokes in order to pinch you at the same time once they're gone. This just doesn't happen in ranked very often, so you should be good to abuse the strategy in practically every single defense round. Unless you're playing Bank, because that map is pretty ass for shotguns. I know what you're thinking, okay, what if they just completely ignore your roam or they rush the site? You don't have the smokes on site anymore, so how are you supposed to actually stall it? And it's kind of looking like a little bit of a mess. Well, you've still got the shotgun, my boy. Whether you're roaming above the site or below it, you're able to make lethal holes in the ground or ceiling to help out the team. Using the holes to shoot enemies from above is great, but you can even go as far as throwing smokes through them from different floors. That's right, you can be 2 floors above the bomb site and still use smoke to deny the plant. What a beautiful world that we live in. And if you're roaming on the same floor but just on the opposite side, you're still able to run back to site safely to help your team. If by the small chance they do get the bomb down without contention, well, the smokes are fantastic for the retake, cutting off lines of sight, pushing attackers off strong angles, or just blocking them out completely. Smoke is so extremely versatile, and it's such a shame that his standardized playstyle is sitting behind a shield on site playing like a scared little bitch. Some people will victimize this shield removal. First you get rid of SMG-11 ACOG and now his shield too. Why is Ubisoft nerfing an operator that doesn't even have a positive win delta? He's gonna be useless now. You sound like a bitch. Smoke is a beast, and most people simply don't understand that. His negative win delta comes from this garbage play like a scared little poop my pants boy gameplay, and it shows. If more people played Smoke right, his win delta would be thriving, but people don't understand the power he really holds. But now they don't have a choice. There is no more shield to crutch. There is no more hiding. It's either barbed wire or proximity mines, and honestly proxies would work too. They basically achieve the exact same thing as barbed wire. But too long have smoke mains sat in the shadows of being support players left to die in 5v1s, being bullied by their teammates to make rotate holes and head holds, and criticized for not doing it the quote-unquote right way, which doesn't exist by the way. Too long have they been victims of the whole team making terrible decisions and dying, only to spectate them in a clutch that was simply too hard to win and get yelled at and called trash. Well, no longer shall smoke players crumble under this toxicity. Smoke mains rise up, because we have the power, we have the utility, and we have the pump. So let's get pumping, let's get roaming, let's get active, and let's take over this game, boys. I think I just shit my pants. That was a pretty good trumpet impression.